We're back in the south of France. The weather's hot, the sun is shining, and the stage is set for a knockdown battle for those knockdown prices. But which one of our lady rugby fanatics has got what it takes to unearth those bargains and be today's victor? Today, we're in one of the most exotic and colourful cities of the world, Nice, a magnet to the rich and famous, home to writers and royalty, artists and musicians, the very heart of the Côte d'Azur in France. This is a city which could be explored endlessly. But for today's two teams, time is very much the issue, because they have just one day to scour the local antiques market for bargains. Then it's back to Britain, where profit becomes the name of the game. But before we get that far, let's find out something about today's field of battle. And when it comes to sun, sea and antique fairs, what finer field of battle could you want than Nice? When the French talk about their great cultural past of the Victorian age, they refer to it as the Belle Époque, literally the beautiful age. And that beautiful age is still very much alive here in Nice. Nestling in the Bay of Angels, in the middle of the French Riviera, this is a city that has it all. Magnificent weather, wonderful architecture, superb Provençal restaurants, and a history and culture second to none. And of course, most importantly for us, Nice has a wealth of antiques markets. So with that in mind, we're going to give our contestants just one day to scour the local flea markets. And they're going to have to shop till they drop if they want to stand a chance of becoming today's victor by making the most profit when they resell their finds back home. I've got £350 worth of euro for each team, and they must spend every penny. So I think it's time to meet today's contestants. Well, today it's going to be a good old scrum down, as our two contestants are two rugby-playing academics. Team number one pairs journalist student Laura with our regular expert Jonty Herndon.
When we go to France, I'd like to buy maybe some sporting memorabilia. I love sports, that'd be quite interesting.
Originally from Hampshire, Laura's taste for collecting started when her mum used to drag her around the local boot fairs when she was a kid.
So always as a child, I've gone to antiques fairs and seen everything, maybe bought the odd thing with pocket money when I was younger and stuff. So I think I've been influenced by that quite a bit, I'd say.
Helping Laura today is Jonty Herndon. He might not be an authority on rugger, but he's very handy when it comes to his own subject, French furniture. Team 2 today pairs Laura's best mate Krishma with king of the bric-a-brac Mark Franks.
The stuff I'm going to buy is just going to be things which I like, you know. I'm just going to stick to that and hopefully someone else will like it too.
Krishma is also at university, where she's training to become a counsellor. She's fairly new to antiques markets, but has been to a few boot sales and has a keen eye for a bargain.
I was discouraged totally to collect things. My mum used to go around with a big black bin liner and throw it all away. But the only thing I have got are the NatWest pigs. I have them. I have all of them. So I think that's the only antique I've got, really, yeah.
Her helping hand comes from professional dealer Mark Franks. He knows a bargain when he sees one and knows how to get that deal right down to rock bottom. Good morning, bargain spotters.
Morning.
Krishma, how are you feeling today?
I've got a bit of a cold, which is always handy, so...
Very handy, but you know what? This sun will dry it out.
Oh,
In no
great.
time at all, you'll be back to fighting form. And what are you looking for?
I like kind of minimalist stuff. I don't
Right.
like anything too chintzy.
No.
I like straight lines,
Yeah.
something easy to clean.
Yeah.
No knives and forks.
Excellent. Clean, sharp lines.
Yes.
Mark, you're good with clean, sharp lines, aren't you?
I like the minimalist looks. I'm
Yeah.
not really a chintzy sort of guy, so
No.
we're going to have great fun today and find loads of
I
bargains.
bet you are. And Laura, how are you today?
I'm okay, thank you.
No cold? You haven't caught her cold?
No, I'm fighting fit.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And what are you going to be looking for, Laura?
Maybe some sporting memorabilia. I'm quite
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
Things which are bold, nice bright colours.
Well, look
you
at
know.
it. Surrounded by
Yeah,
bold colours.
exactly.
That'll be quite easy then, Jonty, won't it?
Yeah, all that sounds fine to me.
Excellent.
One note of caution, I have a hunch that this market might be quite touristy.
Right.
So the prices might be a little bit higher, but hey,
Right.
I love a challenge.
Yeah,
Anyway, so-
and there's going to be lots of challenges. But just one word of advice. Before you go rushing headlong into buying what you think is a great deal, just think to yourselves, is it collectible or rejectable? So with those fine words, I'm going to give you your money belts. Krishma, that's yours. Laura,
you very much.
that's yours. Full of money, spend it very wisely. And gentlemen, your books.
Thank you, dear boy.
Right, are we all ready?
Yep.
So, right, it's time to belt up, it's time to buy. Whilst our teams are getting busy, let me tell you how it works. Using their £350 worth of euros, our teams must buy at least 10 items to take back to the UK. Once home, they have to sell all those pieces at an antiques market, and the team with the most money at the end of the day will be declared the winner. So I wonder how they're getting on. Part of the fun of exploring the flea markets in France is you never know what you're going to find, and Nice is no exception.
What do you think this is?
Looks like a jelly mold.
You're absolutely right. It's a tin jelly mould, and it's about 100 years old.
Like the moose. There's a moose loose in his hoose.
No, I like that.
Yeah, that's quite nice, but look, there's a big chip there, so we avoid damaged stuff. Because anything that's got any damage, it loses 2/3 its value.
Okay.
You're better off trying to buy something that has a user function.
Yeah.
So like a plate, a vase, for instance, like lamps. Now, one thing to think about when you're thinking about lamps, you have to understand that they also have to be converted
Oh, yes.
into English
Yeah.
electricity. So you might say find a lamp for, say, £30, but it's going to cost an electrician, you know, a good £100 to convert the light.
Yeah.
And then somebody's got to make a profit. That kind of.
Oh, that's quite cool, actually. If you look at it, you've got like the hair, an eye, a nose, cheek, mouth, and a long beard. Got it?
Oh, yeah.
Down there it looks like nothing, doesn't it?
Is it meant to go up on the wall?
Yeah, it would hang. There we are. 70 quid. I think that's a rejectable opposed to a collectible.
Yeah, I wonder what's in there, for instance. It's just a little holder. So I think something like that's quite good fun. It says it's on the underside, it's sort of zinc alloy, which is very sort of cool 1960s
Yeah.
material anyway. It's just a nice, fun little storage jar.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, it's €60, so that's about £40. So can't really see too much of a profit on
Yeah.
that. But that might be a possibility. We
Yeah,
could come back to that and
definitely
maybe
come back.
do a bit of negotiation.
Yes, that sounds good.
So the browsing's begun, but who's going to be the first to put their hand in their pocket? They've no excuses, as this is a great location. The flea market in Nice takes place from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. every Monday on the Cours Solaire, and whilst the prices are at the top end, you will find a really excellent selection of antiques and collectibles here. There are also a few other markets not a stone's throw from Nice that are worth checking out. And as they are all on the Côte d'Azur, should you fancy a break, there are plenty of fabulous restaurants lining the streets. And of course, if you get really tired, you can always go and lie on the beach and dip your tired feet into the blue Mediterranean Sea. Well, back with the two teams, I think we're about to get our first purchase.
Do you know what it is?
No.
It's an ashtray. You put your cigarette in there, and as the smoke goes up, it comes out of the mouth of the lady.
That's quite
Look
unusual.
at the earrings
isn't it?
wobbling. It's great, isn't it? 1950s. It's €15, which is about a tenner. It's made of chalk, and it's got a little chip there, which is a shame, but we could always sort of touch that with something. There's a big, huge following for anything sort of African and anything to do with sort of black culture and history. And Oprah Winfrey actually has got a huge collection of stuff to do with any history of sort of slavery and black independence. So I think this is quite an interesting thing. And the 50s scene at the moment, 1956, all that retro stuff is really going on. So what do you think? Should we see if we can get a bit of a bargain on this?
Okay.
First thing you do when you pick up a plate
Yeah.
is, if you like the design on the outside, first of all, okay? The most important thing is to turn it back on the other side, and then so much information is on the underside there. And do you see it says made in Japan? You've even got the date of manufacture. Do you see just down at the bottom there?
Yeah.
1979. right? So this is not an antique, this is just purely a decorative plate. So
Right.
the only reason why that would sell to somebody is quite simply because somebody wants to possess it and own it, and they want 20 odd pounds for it. You
Yeah.
might be able to do a profit on it.
What do you want to offer? If we can get it anything under 10, I think it's a steal.
Okay, you can do the talking now.
Leave it to me. Monsieur, le dernier prix pour ça, s'il vous plaît? 10? C'est bon. That's £7.
Should we get it?
I think we should.
Yeah, let's get that.
So our first buy of the day is an ethnic ashtray, and I don't think Laura's going to be too far behind.
And I think it's about time we got our money out too, don't you? Because I quite like this frame.
Yeah, definitely go for that.
That's Art Deco.
Right?
It's got a new back to it, but somehow it's still quite commercial.
Yeah.
The lady is asking 30 for it. Will you take 20 for this?
Yeah. Okay.
With a smile, yeah? And you like this place?
This smile is more expensive.
The smile is free. Smile is free. Yeah. And this plate here.
Definitely like
You
that
take
plate.
20 for this?
No, it's not possible. It's collection plate.
So what's your
It's
best?
Roosevelt collection.
So what's your best, very, very best price? Very, very best price.
25, no less.
25.
Yeah, it's very good price. cheap
Yeah,
price.
you sure? Okay. That's fine. We'll take that. So you happy with that?
Yeah. Great first buys of the day.
Fantastic.
Very happy.
Great buys indeed, Laura. Ceramics are one of those things where lots of money can be made for all sorts of reasons, as Jonty will explain.
Now, when I come antique shopping in France, I always look for novelty, and my eyes have been completely drawn by these two charming little pieces of porcelain here. Now, the first is this pâté dish here, and I just love the way the hair is actually popping out of the top. But this is really exquisite. This is a tiny little mustard pot. Isn't that sweet? Well, I think it's quite bizarre, really. Now, it should have actually had a little spoon, and that would have been a porcelain spoon. It would be wrong to use a silver spoon in a little mustard pot like this because it tarnishes the mustard. So always use a porcelain spoon if you're serving mustard from a pot. Now, these two little chappies here, the owner is actually asking £300 for this tureen and £120 for this. Now, I'm going to leave them today, but when you're searching the markets, always look out for novelty like this because it pays dividends when you get back home.
From 19th century antiques to 20th century design classics, Mark and Krishma have spotted a real winner, but is it in their price range?
This is cracker. Do you like it?
Yeah, this is really nice. I like it.
This is what you expecting to find when you came to France, something like this.
No, actually. I expected it all to be like kind of wood and things like that, but this is nice.
Well, I love this, and what's really good, you see this got a little adjuster there, so you can adjust this, and these can be moved, and also each one of these can be moved different positions, and they don't knock each other as they go through, so it can be in so many different ways.
This is great. This would look nice in someone's living room, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 1950s, 1960s, they've been made around that sort of time, but it's so wacky, so cool, I love it.
So do you think there's much profit in this then?
Well, €150 equates to £100. I mean, if I had that in a shop in London, I'd be looking for double that, but
Yeah, I think it's good for £100, isn't it?
yeah, it's
really?
got to be at least £20 profit, I'm sure.
So, from a fantastic light to Jonty tripping the light fantastic.
How about going out the jungle with one of these?
Well, I've got no plans to go to the jungle at the moment. So,
Dr. Livingston, I presume?
Those experts love to make a spectacle of themselves.
My favourite item are these. Look at those. Are they wow or wow? €10. What are you laughing for? Don't laugh. They're lovely.
I think you look like Elton John, really.
I wish I had his money. €170 for the 3 items, so that's about roughly £114. I think we can't lose.
Go on then, and you can get the Larry glasses too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do they suit me? No. No? You don't want to say no?
Well, Mark, you did ask. Now, if you fancy coming down to Nice and the local markets yourself, it's pretty easy to get here. And if you book well in advance, you can get some really cheap flights. So look on the internet or pop into your local travel agent. The airport is very close to the town centre, and a taxi ride into town will cost you around 15 to 20 euros. Public transport is very cheap, and just €4 will buy you an all-day ticket on the local buses. Now, back at the market, I think the teams are struggling to find things within their price range.
What are they? But do you know what? I think they're lampshades.
really?
Yeah, do you see that?
Yeah.
You put the light through there, so they actually hang that way.
They're very odd.
Fantastic shapes. They're very sort of
Yeah.
1960s, that sort of
Yeah.
French frosted glass. Do you like them?
Yeah, I do. They're different.
I think they're fun and funky.
Yeah.
Funky.
Yes, Jonty, and wicked too.
Which one?
It's that one.
Let's have a look. 75 euros, that's 50 quid. Do you think that's a lot?
I think it's quite a lot, but he did. But the only thing I was more worried about is a chip in it.
Yeah.
But I just liked it. I just thought it looks nice.
It is nice, and yeah, it's quite simple, striking, strong colour. I love the way the black and the chrome mix.
There's definitely a 1960s theme emerging today.
See that the element down there? Look at that.
This one's very nice also.
What is this? That's a table lamp. What's the wood here?
It's en palmier. Palmer.
Palm tree.
Palm tree, yes.
Very exotic.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
You see that you've got the light down on the inside there, you see that?
Yeah.
Now the other thing that's got to be rewired, but I think that's incredibly stylish. Do you like that?
Yeah, I do.
The Blakey said we could have it for half price.
Half price, that's
Yeah.
£25. It's got a bit of age. It's really hard to date glass, but if you look at the bottom, can you see all these little scratches that are
Yeah.
randomly scratched? I would have said this is probably 1950s. 25 quid for a cracked thing. I'm not 100% sure. What do you think? What would you pay for it? If you wanted it for home and you saw it antiques market, what would you pay for
I would
it?
probably only pay about 10. I wouldn't pay 25 quid for it. But
So therefore, we've got to buy it for a tenner to even make a profit, haven't we?
yeah. Oh well.
What do you think?
Never mind. We've put it back, can't we?
Yep, that's just too expensive. But is Laura having any better luck?
So that's 60 euros, so that's about £40 at the moment. What's your best price?
Best price. I don't know. I think 40.
That's more like £30. I think
Yeah.
that's a deal.
Go for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we buy all of these lights shades down here, what can you do them for?
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40 and 40.
So 80 and all.
80 for everything.
I'm happy. That's
Okay,
fine.
we'll do
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Both teams have now made 3 purchases each, and the haggling is well underway. So, it's time to find out more about our host city. For a glimpse of real life on the Côte d'Azur, the place to be is here, the old town of Nice. And its centrepiece is right here, the Cours Solaire. This gives us a real echo of Nice's past, with its fine Italianate architecture and the colours of yellows, ochres and pinks. Now, in the 19th century, the chicest place to live would have been here. Nice has only been French since 1860, following almost 500 years in the hands of the Italian House of Savoy, and still to this day is a popular shopping haunt for many Italians. The British presence here can also be felt very strongly. In the late 18th century, Nice was hugely popular with the British gentry. In fact, the main route along the coast is called the Promenade des Anglais, as it was built in the 1820s with money raised by a group of English expats who rather fancied a leisurely stroll along the prom. You don't have to go very far from the antiques market on the Cours Solaire to find many of Nice's hidden little treasures. They're everywhere up and down these streets. Look at this scruffy building, for instance. Outside it's awful, but inside it's an Italian palace. Have a look. Palais Lascaris is perhaps the most wonderful of Nice's many private palaces. Built in the 17th century by Italian Jean-Baptiste Lascaris, it is a typical Genoese palace built to display the wealth and importance of the Lascaris family. It is full of elaborately detailed ornaments, including a surprisingly grandiose staircase. And although the building has undergone extensive remodelling, it still maintains many of its 18th century features. An intensive restoration undertaken in 1946 brought back its original beauty, and the palace is now classified a historic monument. In Britain, the all-important phrase location, location, location meant nothing 300 years ago to the architects of the Baroque period. The outside meant absolutely nothing. They concentrated all their exuberance for the inside. Just look at this room. It's a bedroom, but in fact, it's more like a stage set. All the figures, the gilding, the artwork. Just look at that ceiling by an Italian artist called Vittoni. This was the main bedroom of the head of the Lascaris family. Bedroom is amazing. It feels to me more like a ballroom with this large expanse of flooring here, minimal furniture, and this lovely screen with its 4 caryatids. But what is truly amazing is that this screen is still here at all, because about 100 years ago, the whole place fell into disrepair and was taken over by the council, and the whole building was converted into flats and apartments. Can you imagine this being given to you by your housing association? So, back at the market, the search for those all-important money makers is still on. But are the team's minds on their work?
Krishma, are you bargain spotting?
Mark, are you being an idiot?
Some nice stuff here, isn't there?
Yeah, I like the white vase,
That's quite stylish, isn't it? Very minimalist. It's definitely can be your minimalist thing, isn't it, eh? There's not much I don't like on here, you know?
No.
All these designery lamps, they're really cool.
That's really nice as well. That look nice in my bedroom, I think.
No, darling, we're not buying for you. We're buying to sell and make a profit.
And Krishma's not the only one to be confused.
Right, now, where haven't we been?
Over there, we still haven't done.
We haven't done that side at all. It's always really good to do markets like this systematically.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just completely lost. You can't remember where you've been, you can't remember what you've looked at. This is just buzzing with people. So should we make our way over there?
But that's really nice.
Let's have a look. That's €200, which is approximately 140 quid. It looks to me like it might be a designer one called Harmony. And you see these little metal bits sticking out. They hold the lamp into place, and it's got 2 lights. That's actually a light bulb, and inside there's a fluorescent light bulb as well. Now, he's a famous designer, the chap who made this. Magistretti, I think his name was. I think it might be one of his. Now, he's an interesting designer from Milan, and when he was 28 in about late 40s, he joined his dad's company and started designing all sorts of things, and he's very well known around the world. You can still buy the Harmony lamp, which is more or less exactly the same as this, today in the shops for about 200 quid. So this one, by looks, if you look down right in the centre, you see the chrome, it's all pitted.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen overnight. So I would say, just by looking at that this is probably from the 60s, perhaps the 70s, but it's still being produced.
Oh, look at that. See that hat stand there?
Yeah.
That's going to run with our theme, isn't it?
Very cool.
What do you think about that?
I like that, yeah.
Cool and trendy?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, would you live that in your own house?
Possibly.
Or are you going to trade with it?
Possibly, I think I would have that in my hallway.
What's the price here? Oh, she wants about £100 for it. I think that's too much money. There's no profit in that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a pity.
Oh, how can they walk away from that? At £100, it's a 1950s steel.
Personally, I've seen them change hands for about 100-ish, 120, £100. We're buying it at its full value. There's not a huge profit, and to get that home in one piece could be tricky. You could be lucky if someone fancies one and they want to go and buy a new one at 225, then they might buy this one cheaper.
I don't see anyone at home spending over 100 quid on it, though, do you know what I mean?
No, I agree. I think you've got exactly right. This is what we're looking for, but not on this stall. This is a specialist. She knows what she's got.
Yeah.
Let's find someone who doesn't know what they've got and try to find the same thing.
Now, Laura was looking for sporting collectibles, and at last, Jonty's found some.
Oh, now you want to be a sports journalist, don't you? Now, what we're looking for, if you are collecting things like tennis rackets, for instance, is to make sure that you've got something that's real age. And they also have to be as good as functional as possible, so you don't want the actual frame itself to have warped too severely. And to see if you've got the old original cat gut in there as well. That's quite important. It's quite interesting. The other day, I was at an auction sale, and a promotional tennis racket, which was wonderfully wooden framed in very good condition, was sold at auction. And when I say a promotional tennis racket, it stood about this tall off the ground. And it sold for £1,300.
Really?
Can you believe it? It was no more than, say, like 50 years old.
Really?
Yeah, so you just got to keep your eyes peeled if you see something like that. remember how much they're worth.
Well, we'll do.
So we're halfway through the day, and whilst our continental hosts are taking a long French lunch, our girls are soldiering on. Let's see how the teams are getting on. So far, Laura and Jonty have spent £102. I really like this 1960s vase, a snip at £6. Krishma and Mark also seem to be very happy with items from the 60s and 70s. They have already spent £217 of their budget, but the Perspex lamp at £90 could be a bit of a gamble, but who knows, it could pay off. Remember, all this stuff has to be resold back in Britain, when Krishma will find that selling is a lot harder than buying.
It's so painful. It's so painful.
And Laura will take a bit of a gamble with one of her favourite finds.
That's not fair.
But all that is still to come. Back in France, while the teams are shopping, I've got some bargain spotting of my own to do. I'm going to try and pick out what I think are the 2 star buys of today's market. This is something that our contestants should see because there's a lot of profit left in it. It's a 1970s 7-globe lamp in great condition. This design is actually featured in design books of 1970s lighting and furniture. This here today is £175, an easy profit back home. And I really do hope that one of them will find it. It's lovely. My first find was in line with today's 60s theme, but my second is something a lot more traditional. Tableware is very important in France. That's probably because their food is. Look at this lovely oil and vinegar set in this lovely silver-plated containers. Now, you see this hole here? It looks like something's missing. Well, it isn't, because it's a stopper container. Everything is so well considered. All these pieces are in perfect condition. It's only £75. It's dated about 1880 or 1890. Absolutely lovely condition. It is silver plate, not silver. The question is, will either of our teams spot it in this very, very busy market? Well, the morning is rolling on, and it looks like Laura and Jonty have spotted some star buys of their own. Some very nice Murano glass. And Mark, too, has spotted something special.
Oh, that is the sort of thing we want to buy. Do you like those?
Yeah, they're really nice.
Beautiful.
Where would you have them? Outside or inside?
No, you'd have them inside on a wall. Look at that. They're made of wood. This would be probably oak.
How old is it?
I would say 200 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
They're really nice.
1800 approximate.
Last 19th century.
1850. Wow. They are stunning. Le prix? Just over £1,000. I mean, if we had £1,000 to spend, I don't think you go far wrong, but we haven't, so let's move on.
No, unfortunately, my Louis Vuitton wallet does not hold enough money to buy this beautiful Louis Vuitton trunk. Now, let's take a closer look at this. Louis Vuitton was a guy that originally travelled 250 miles by foot to Paris from the hometown of Jura. And this was in 1837, where he decided to become an apprentice. His father was a carpenter, and his ambition was to follow his father's footsteps. And he became a trunk maker. Now, trunks in those days always had dome tops and were very difficult to stack. What he done was he designed, in 1854, a flat-top trunk similar to this. Now, this one dates from 1930s, and this is available at £2,000. Seems like a lot of money, but they're still being made now, and they're very expensive. Watch out for it. The older stuff like this is going up in value. I think it's a sound investment.
With a market as busy as the Cours Solaire, it's easy to be overawed, but don't be fooled, it's not all worth investing in.
What about spoons and cutlery? Are they worth buying?
Well, as a general rule, I often find that because English people love their own sort of flatware, we love our own flatware, that by and large it's not really worth buying because we've got so much of it. I mean, the English silver is regarded, quite frankly, as the best in the world.
Yeah.
It's quite simply because we've got the history of the hallmarking. A hallmarking is essentially a stamp of a seal to actually prove that something actually is solid silver.
Right.
That's quite simply all that hallmarking is.
Okay.
So not only do we have a standard, but often we can tell the date. That's the whole idea as well. So we have letters that change just like a car number plate.
Really?
So we have this fantastic pedigree in England that doesn't really exist to the same degree in any other country. So really a sort of a tip, if we're looking at cutlery, is to not touch it with a barge pole.
Okay.
Right?
So it seems the biggest problem for our teams today is being spoilt for choice. There are so many wonderful finds here in Nice, but they don't just stop at the market. From the 18th century, Nice has been a haven for tourists from all over the world, especially the rich and famous. So it's not surprising that there are some pretty spectacular hotels here. And there is one that stands out, not because it's the best hotel, although it has been voted one of the top hotels in the world, but it's because of its outstanding collection of antiques, furniture and works of art that really sets it apart. It's the Negresco.
Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak.
The Negresco was built in 1912 for the Romanian restaurateur Henri Negresco. This magnificent Belle Epoque building remained for many years the very epitome of the tradition of the art of living and the French-style service that must have existed in Nice at the turn of the century. Past guests here include Charlie Chaplin, Marlene Dietrich, Elizabeth Taylor, Michael Jackson and royalty from around the world, including our own Queen. Just look at this portrait of Louis XIV by the artist Rigaud. Only 3 such full-length portraits of the king exist, one in the Louvre, one in Versailles, and this one in the Negresco. And this restored ceiling removed lock, stock and barrel from a French convent and with no expense spared, fitted here in the hotel. When I mentioned earlier that this place is full of lovely works of art, this is what I meant. I'm surrounded by original paintings of some of the heads of Europe. And that's not all. If you just look up here, above me is 1 ton of Baccarat crystal. This is one of a pair which was commissioned by Tsar Nicholas to go into the Kremlin. One of them, this one, didn't actually reach the Kremlin because the Russian Revolution intervened. It was bought by the owner of the hotel, Madame Augier, 40 years ago. If you're interested in glass and you're thinking of coming to Nice, it is an absolute must to come in here and see this. If you'd like to know more details of any of the fabulous places we visit, check out our website at bbc.co.uk/lifestyle. Now, back at the market, I wonder if either of our teams have spotted my star buys yet. Well, as I thought, with the 60s theme in mind, Jonty and Laura haven't given my oil and vinegar set a second glance. Pity, as there's a big profit there. However, Mark and Krishma are showing a bit more interest in my second choice, but will they buy it?
Oh, this is just such a stall. Now, this has got to be up your street.
Yeah,
is this ringing your bell?
This is very nice.
Yeah?
Very, very nice.
Can you see that in your house?
Yep. I can see it in my bedroom, actually.
Saucy. Do you know where I see this? Do you know where this would look good and probably would have been originally?
Yeah.
Right, imagine the entrance, like a big foyer for a hotel, an office block, on a big coffee table with some nice chairs around it and a few magazines spread.
Yeah, rather than have, like, flowers as a centrepiece, I suppose.
Yeah, just a big standalone piece of art.
It's really nice.
Funky, isn't it?
Really, really nice.
But it's 175 quid.
It's a bit too expensive, really, isn't it?
If it's £100, I'd be buying it quick as you like. I think it's worth every penny, but I don't see a profit in it.
Shame.
Oh, well, let's not waste any more
C'est
time.
la vie.
Let's carry on. C'est la vie. Mange tu.
I disagree. There's a big profit there. I think they're crazy to walk away.
Look what I found. I like those.
Pretty.
Do you know what they are?
I don't know.
Oyster plates.
Oh, right, yeah.
Very French.
Yeah.
Lovely, fantastic. I love these.
Yeah.
Now, how many have we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. And this really big plate too. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, I love the colours. I like these.
Now this is pottery.
Yeah.
Covered in this lovely thick tin glaze. It's lovely and rustic and very French. And we don't really get oyster plates like this at home.
Right.
These really only come from France. I would suppose these are only about 50 years old, but they're so decorative. Can you imagine these covered in oysters?
Yeah.
And that's how fantastic they would be.
I like those.
So we've got a set of 12, which is really unusual, and I love this big plate as well. So I think this is if this is the right price.
Yeah.
Yeah. C'est combien, monsieur?
100 euros.
100 euros. So that's just over 60 quid. What is your best price? Your very best price on this? And I mean your very, very best price.
So for you, 80.
80 euros.
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah,
You're the boss.
I really like them. Yes,
You're the
definitely.
boss? Yeah?
I don't
The
know,
boss
lovely.
says yes.
Yes.
Well, a set of oyster plates. Interesting, but will they sell back in the UK?
Bon, merci.
We don't really eat that many oysters, do we? We'll have to wait and see. Well, it's 3/4 of the way through the day and both teams are bang on schedule. But there is always time for an additional free item. I bet you're happy to sit down, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Are your experts rushing you off your feet?
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
But you know, this is one of the nicest markets we've been to. How are you finding it?
It's really nice. There's a lot of variety. And there's lots to look at. It's just really interesting. You can get kind of submerged in it all after a while,
I
can't
know.
you?
It seems to go on and on,
Yeah,
doesn't
it
it?
does.
You're very lucky to be here. And one of you is going to be even luckier because now's the time for the bonus item, which is these. It's a pair of curtain tiebacks. They're French, about 1880. They're ormolu, which is gilt on base metal. They're very nice indeed. Now, my question to you, ladies, is how much did I pay for this pair? 2 seconds to think about that. Right, Krishma, how much did I pay for these?
£160.
£160. Laura?
140.
£140? Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you are the winner. I paid only £37 for these. They are yours. Now, the
Brilliant.
money you take from those, for those back in the UK, will be pure profit for your kitty. Well done.
Thank you.
And you might even get as much as that for them.
Brilliant.
Well, our experts are looking for you, so you better catch up with them, and I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now's my time to find a suitable price for today's winner. Now, marketplaces are great for real bargains, but I'm after something a bit special. So, I'm going to the local antique dealers. It may be a bit more expensive, but I'm after something of real quality. I've just come across this lovely little clock, which could be a possible prize for either Laura or Krishma. It's a carriage clock, only it's not an original carriage clock, because the original carriage clocks were a lot earlier than this, and they were made to travel with in one's carriage. This is made in 1878, and the reason I know that is because on the back here, it tells us that it won a design exhibition in Paris at that time, and I can quite understand why it did. This is painted on tin, and also it's an early alarm clock. Imagine this gracing the bedside table. It's beautifully painted, and the movement goes against all the laws of clock mechanism, because to set the alarm, you have to take this hand anti-clockwise. Absolutely lovely. It's base metal, but it's just so charming of its period. Its price is about £190, and I think this comes a very close contender. Much as I love the clock, the dealer won't drop the price, so my search continues. I found today's prize. It's a bit different. What is it? It's a plate stand for hot plates, or perhaps a hot soup tureen, and this would sit in the middle of a table. It's a bit garish, it's very bright, it's Maiolica, or faience, as they say here in France, and it says autumn here. Obviously, it's one of 4, and it's a souvenir piece from about 1910. And it's made locally in France by Longwy, local manufacturer of tiles and pottery. Absolutely charming, very collectible now, all this souvenir stuff. A nicely carved woodwork round the corner here. And the other thing I like about this is it's got a nice hidden surprise. It plays tunes. In fact, it plays 4 tunes, as it tells us there. Now, the dealer wants €300 for this. If I can knock him down just a bit, this is it. This is what I will go for. And I hope either of our contestants will really like it as much as I do. Perfect souvenir. But who's going to win it when we get back to Britain? Remember, they're going to have to sell all their items and make a profit.
Wow, look.
What would you put in it?
I don't think it needs anything in it. It's just a piece of art. Le dernier prix, monsieur, s'il vous plaît? 55, bet. 35 quid. What do you think?
I really like it.
I really like it. Just hope that somebody's got our taste.
What about these paintings? Would they sell well back
Well,
home?
paintings are fine, especially French Impressionists, and particularly this picture here, has a sort of Impressionist sort of feel about it. But they're very personal.
Laura, Jonty, how are you getting on?
Hi, good. Yeah, we've had a great buy. Now, we've got a bit of a theme going, haven't we? We're very 60s. We've got a 60s girl here, so she's got an eye.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I like 60s. So does everyone at home like 60s. Excellent. What are you looking at here?
We're just looking at pictures at the moment.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, they're not 60s, are they?
No.
Not really.
And we've still got a way to go as well. We've still got a few euros to spend.
Well, I'm here to tell you, this may surprise you, but you've only got 1 hour left. You've got to get to it.
Okay, thank you.
As the market comes to the end of the day, both teams have decided to try and spend the rest of their money on a single item.
I like that one. That looks like the atom bomb, doesn't it?
450 euros, that's about 300 euros more than we got
A
left.
bit far stretch for that one.
Yeah, we've got 150 left. These ones are made by a bloke called Joe Colombo. These ones are from the late 60s to the early 70s, but they started reproducing these in the last several years. And you can buy these new, but these are definitely earlier ones. I mean, you can just sort of see that these are the little tiny scratches. These aren't reproduction, these aren't new.
And while Krishma and Mark ponder over those 60s lamps, Laura has decided to revisit that expensive 50s hat stand.
Right, you sure about this?
Yes,
Yeah?
yes, let's go for it.
Definitely?
Yeah, definitely.
This is could be our last purchase of the day.
I do like it.
Yes?
Yes.
Are we going to put our plan into action?
Yes, let's.
Okay, let's ask the lady. You remember, get all your money out.
Yeah.
Excuse me, pardon, madame. We only have 87 euros left. We have no more money left.
Please.
It's the end of the day. Will you take it? Okay. Beg her, please.
While the dealer phones her sister, Mark and Krishma have yet to close their last
How
deal.
many euros have we got left then?
We've got 150, 1880 is 160, that comes to 200. But I'll tell you what, if you ask the guy really, really nicely and beg him, I reckon we might just think, well, we can try. I reckon you can just give a pretty smile and you can do the deal. Go on.
All right, then.
Do a bit of sniffing, like, he might think you're crying. Go on.
We really like your lights over there, but the problem is they're 200 euros for all of them. And we're a bit far stretched for that. We've only got 150 euros left. Do you reckon you can sort it out?
Allez, c'est d'accord.
Oh, nice one.
So, Krishma's spent up. But what about Laura?
Ils ont que 80. Ils ont que 90, tu leur donnes? OK.
Brilliant.
So, Laura and Jonty have a great deal and manage to spend the last of their £350 budget too.
Right, how do you feel? You happy?
Great, yes, very happy.
Fantastic, well done. Follow me.
That's it, time's up. Our teams had £350 each and 10 items to buy and sell on back in Britain. Laura and Jonty bought a total of 13 items. I really do like that 50s hat stand, which at £60 is surely a winner. Krishma and Mark also bought a total of 13 items. The 60s light at under £100 is surely a bargain and will leave them quids in. But with a total 60s feel, they are putting all their eggs into one basket and they'll have to be very lucky when they have to sell them on. But at the end of the day, I think both teams have made some pretty cracking choices.
Well done, bargain spotters. You've done incredibly well and started to pack up already. Laura, how are you feeling?
Tired, but happy with everything we did
Good.
today.
I'm glad to hear it. And is that your favourite piece, Laura?
Yeah, I think so. I just like it. It's really different and quirky and nice and colourful.
Certainly is that. And Jonty, what's your favourite piece and what's going to make you the most money, more to the point?
Well, it's got to be our Sputnik-esque 1960s coat stand.
Going to make you a fortune.
Absolutely.
Quite a mouthful, that, Jonty. And Krishma, you're still clutching that mushroom lamp.
Yeah, I really like this kind of off-centre mushroom lamp. It's just different.
It certainly is. Mark, is this going to make you the most profit, do you think?
No, we bought a big hanging lamp with glass shades,
I saw
chrome.
that.
Fantastic.
I agree.
Big profit left in that, mate.
I'm glad to hear it.
Well, it's not quite over yet, because now it's time to box it up. It's back to Britain. Well, we're back in Britain. Our teams have spent their £350 each in France. They're here selling it wildly at Camden Passage, London's antiques village. It's buy, buy, buy and sell, sell, sell all day. And whoever makes the most money today is going to be the winner. Let's see how they're getting on.
It's an early start, but with antiques, the start of the day should always be the best time to sell. It's when they should make the biggest profits. But before they start, it's always a good idea to make a plan of action.
How's it going, Laura? Table looks good.
Not too bad though.
Yeah? Does it all look familiar now?
Yeah, now everything's out.
Do we have to like put prices on everything? Or?
I don't think we do. If somebody comes up, for example, and they go, "Oh, isn't this fantastic? I love it. Isn't it the most wonderful thing ever?" You ask them more money.
Yeah.
And if they go, "How much is that?"
Yeah.
You know, you've got to treat each customer as you find them.
You need to show the detail. You need to have a sense of knowing what you're selling. Now, the underside here is palm wood, which I think is wonderfully exotic.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing we would definitely not have in England. So that look, that light is fantastically different.
Yeah.
If you love it, somebody else is going to love it too, so sell it with a bit of passion.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to have a look around the market and
Okay.
I'll come back and catch you later.
Okay, then
all right?
see you later.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We're going to have to rearrange the stall because it's a bit higgledy-piggledy. I know we've got a glass department and a lamps department.
Okay.
But I want the tallest items at the rear, smallest items at the front. Okay, so we want that right at the back.
Mark might like his stand just so, but he is a master salesman. Or is he just trying to get his own back with those glasses?
That goes with your top.
Does it nice?
Ah, already some interest in the hat stand.
It's nice, isn't it?
That's all right. How much is that?
150 quid.
How much?
Well, it's rather fun.
Right, yeah.
It's great
Says
fun.
150 quid. How much can it be? Best.
Best price?
Best.
Well, as it's first thing in the morning.
Yep.
But
What
it
would
is
you
my
say?
favourite item.
It's your favourite item, right? 100 quid.
Yeah.
100 quid.
Give you 70 quid for it.
70.
Yep.
Can't do that.
Yes, you can.
do that.
Certainly money.
Do you want to?
80,
What's your best price?
80,
80
I
quid?
think, yeah.
75 pounds.
Can't do that.
No,
Can you?
£80.
Well, it's fun. It's wacky. It's what everywhere says.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's
So,
it.
how do you want to pay? Cash or check?
Cash.
Cash, please.
Cash.
Well, the first sale of the day and Laura's quid's in. But did she sell for too little, too soon?
Are you going to sell it on?
Well, I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
You're going to sell it? That's serious. How much is it?
No, I must have.
How much job for it?
1 night.
What's going on? Can you believe it? What salesmanship? Just to recap, Laura bought that hat stand for £60, sold it for £80, and that chap's just sold it for £150 within a minute. I hope those girls have learnt a lesson.
How much does that cost?
£25.
Okay.
It's really nice actually. The thing is, it's actually lead lined, so you can't actually use it for flowers, but I don't know, decorative piece is very nice.
I'll go 20 on it.
Yeah, I can do it for 20.
And Krishma's made her first sale, but once again, it's at a very small profit. There are lots of people about, but the girls just don't seem to have mastered the gift of the gab.
Everything's got a sale, so you've got to get rid of everything. So if you want to put an offer on it, it'll...
How much is it at the moment?
It's £30 at the minute.
It's palm tree. Yeah.
How much is it?
I could start at 40. Is that
40.
what would you pay for it?
About 20, I think.
About I looked to for 25.
25.
Concentrate, Laura, that's a £2 loss.
Failing that, you can always get my lamp.
We get both.
With the radio in it as well. You don't get
Mine
them.
is made from palm
Yeah, it's got the radio. Yeah, but mine has a radio.
Yeah, but my lamp is better. It is more stylish.
No, I wouldn't say that really. It's just personal taste, isn't it really?
£25.
Okay, 25 quid.
£25?
Yeah.
You've got a shape in it, so you
Okay.
can't run away.
There we go.
Thank you.
So here we have 2 lessons in the art of sales. Keep your mind on your prices and your hands on their money. That couple may have shaken on the deal, but they never came back. Oh well, perhaps next time Laura sells that lamp, she'll make a profit.
How much do you want for this?
I think we were selling it for £20, weren't we? 20.
They're very Art Deco in style.
How about 15? Would you do that?
18 when I'll shake your hand.
Okay.
Great, wonderful.
That's the way, guys. Now, don't let them out of your sight before you've taken their money. And it's in the bag. So maybe the 60s theme is paying off in trendy Islington. There's plenty of folk about with interior design in mind.
Unfortunately, on the way here it broke. But it's really nice. You can move these things around, and you can change the lamps as well.
Yeah.
So we're just selling it at cost price now for £125.
I think we could replace that though.
Yeah, we can just buy a plastic one from the hospital.
You reckon?
Well done, Krishma, for selling that broken light. Now, these guys really are in the market to buy some stuff, and the girls aren't going to let them go. Let's see what else they can tempt them with.
Cheers, thank you.
I'll take that.
You pay that? That's £20.
Can you wrap that up for me?
Yep, sure. This is just the one you want. You don't get a nice matching one too.
Oh,
See, that's a nice one here. It's one of my favourites.
See, that would go very well with what we've
It
got
would
in the
go
lounge
so
room.
well with your
Right,
lounge.
throw that one in.
Okay.
Make it 30.
I'll make it 35.
All right.
That's the way, Laura. At last, she's getting the hang of this selling lark.
Well, that was successful,
At
wasn't
last,
it? Exactly.
yes, brilliant stuff.
Finally, the big money is changing hands, so it's a good time for me and the experts to check out any other French finds that might be here today.
Well, Mark, lots of French pieces in here. What do you make of these?
They're really nice, aren't they?
They're great.
Where do you see them, Chris?
Is this a test, Mark?
Oh, yes, I'm playing with you.
I'll tell you, factories.
Yeah.
Obviously, for all the workers to wash their hands, but
Yep.
the interesting thing is they've all been polished up, and their use now is, look what he's done to them, this dealer.
He's put a lamp. There's
Yeah.
a pair of them. If you look closely, can you see there? Underneath the chrome, you've got brass.
Yeah.
Now, what quite a lot of people do, they get the chrome taken off and they polish it up, and that would come up like pure gold because there's solid brass all the way through.
Yeah.
And if you take the top off and take that, you can reseat them so they can actually be used if you wanted to.
Great use for them now.
Oh,
though.
fantastic.
Great.
Fantastic.
And look at this. Let me test you now.
Aha.
Do you know what this is?
It's a light.
Aha. But what's it made of?
You tell me, Chris.
Bayonets, and it's called trench art.
Ah, the old trench art.
Now, that's very misleading because this wasn't actually made in the trenches. How could they? But afterwards, after the end of the war, First World War, they would take these home. What do you do with an old bayonet? Do something with it. Very nice, very rare. You don't see a lot
No,
of it,
very
do you?
unusual. It's quite designery, isn't it?
Very designer. Timeless, I would say. Timeless.
Bit like
chic.
you, Chris. Timeless and chic.
I couldn't say that for you, Mark.
Back at the stall, the girls are starting to struggle, but Mark Franks has a plan.
Ladies, have you found it, Laura?
It's been difficult. It's been quite slow today, but we're still persevering.
Krishma?
Oh, God, it's really hard. I'd never want to do this as a job. I think it's got to be the worst thing in the world. I don't like it.
One minute, when we're walking around the south of France in the sun...
Fine, it's a different... Fine, it's a different story. This whole selling thing, oh, it's doing my natty, it's doing my natty.
Spend. That's all you think about. Right, my plan is that rather than us all sort of going, do you want to buy this, do you want to buy that, and jumping on the customers, we're going to stand out of the way and then say, if you need any help, we're here to help. But we're going to let the stall be unmanned and we'll watch it from a distance, yeah?
Okay.
Give it a go?
Yeah.
All right. Come on, let's go over there and I'll get some teas on board and we can just keep an eye on it from a distance.
Interesting plan, Mark, but will it work? Right, the hat stand chap's back. This time, Laura, don't let him get the better of you.
Cheap like the budgie.
What?
Cheap like the budgie.
A lot cheaper than that, please.
Okay. 65 quid.
I tell you what, 50 quid. That and that.
60 quid.
Oh no.
60,
I
I
don't
can't.
want plumbing
60,
stuff. It's no good to
60,
me.
go on.
Toss a coin,
Go on.
50 or 60.
You what? Well, is that enough?
Oh, go on. £60.
I'll tell you what, I'll toss a coin.
Toss it,
Toss
okay.
a coin, 55 or 50.
I don't have a coin.
No, I'm too tight for that. I've got a coin. Go on, 55 or 50,
Oh,
yeah?
50 or 60, come on.
No,
come
I
on.
don't want
Laura,
stuff.
do the deal. Toss the coin.
Yeah, go on, he's desperate. He's had enough. He wants
Take
to go.
it.
Listen, good advice. Go on.
Go on then, get your coin out.
Okay then, coin.
The coin.
Right then. And I'll let you call, yeah? But
Okay.
you're showing the side upwards, okay? Go on.
Tails.
And it's heads.
Oh,
there we go. Yes,
that's
the fruit.
not fair.
Of course it is. It's business. It's cool.
Oh, Laura, really? Perhaps it's a bit early in the morning for our two students, but that is a whopping great loss. Lucky they're not doing business studies.
Oh, I'll give it for 10 of them. £10.
Laura,
You sure?
knock the prices down.
You can have it for 5.
Chase it, take it.
So bad. Excuse me.
Right, time is starting to run out now, so whether they make a profit or not, it's time to start shifting the items as they can't have anything left on the stall at the end of the day.
How much is that? What do you reckon? £5. It was 20 this morning, but I cut it down to 5. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, so a plate like this could have easily sent somebody back, £100 something like that, without any problem. Yeah. So, wow. Yours for £5. Can't go wrong. Bargain of the day.
Well, stuff is shifting at the knockdown prices, but without the big profits at the start of the day, I can see a nasty loss on the cards.
Only 225 days till Christmas. We are.
How about for £1?
£3.
Right, I'll take it.
For which vase?
That, you know, that lovely gold thing. Can I have that for £1?
£5.
Yeah.
Do you want it wrapped? We bought it for 30.
And now you're selling it.
For 5.
How does that work?
Because we
That's
have
bad
to.
business.
They have to go by today.
Have you made
Go to the bank.
Yeah.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
It's so painful.
So-
It's so painful.
At the end of the day, the winner's the contestant with the most money in their money belt, so every penny really does count, even if it does mean making a loss on the item. And oh boy, have there been some losses.
Yes, it's a Greek wedding, we're just going to smash it to bits.
I don't believe it. I can't say I liked those lampshades, but smashing them to bits at a Greek wedding? So it's the end of the day and time to tot up the takings. Laura and Jonty's best profit was the Sputnik hat stand, which sold for £80. Their biggest loss was a set of glass lights, which sold for a £5, making an awful £48 loss. Krishma and Mark's best profit was the triple light, which sold for £125. And their biggest loss, surprisingly, was the radio light, which lost £43. So it's time to find out just who is today's winner. Teams, it's been a tough day, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a long. You've done it. You've sold it all right at the last minute, too, in some cases. Laura, have you had some tough hagglers here today?
Yeah, definitely. The guy who bought the oyster plates.
Yes.
Yeah, he was hard work.
Was he?
But yes,
How much did you sell them for?
£55, and that included the lamp as well.
And how much did you want for them?
100.
Ah.
He's got a bargain.
You're too soft,
Yes,
Laura.
I know. Exactly.
Why do you think it has been tough, Jonty?
Well, remember, Chris, we were buying in probably the most chicest part of the south of France. And
Yes.
we're also competing with all the tourists down there. So it was tough buying, and today it's been tough selling.
Well, in view of that, I think you've done miraculously well. Thank you. And Krishma, what was the best thing you sold today?
Most profit was the kangaroo lamp.
Yes, that was very nice.
That did very well. Unfortunately, because that big lamp was broken, it didn't get as much as we really wanted it to, which was a shame, but it still got a little bit.
But you were selling right up to the very end, Mark, weren't you?
We certainly was, yeah. It's been a hard day, and as Jonty correctly said, we paid top money for the stuff, and it's been quite difficult to sell. But I think we've done all right. Could have done better, but done all right.
Well, teams, all is not lost, because you've both taken more money than you think, probably, and one of you, lucky girls, is going to win this. Now, Krishma, your total is £241. That is a loss, however, of £109. And Laura and Jonty, your total was £286. That's a lower loss of £64. So congratulations, Laura. You are the winner. Well done.
very much.
Play it well.
I will
The main
do.
thing is we've all had fun.
Yeah.
Well done. And join us again soon for another sun, sea and bargain spotting. Bye-bye.
Bye.